Now, from the Low Country's news leader, this is Live 5 News.
And another cool start to your Monday morning here in the Low Country, but you won't need the jacket for long.
That's some good news, and you also won't need the rain gear. Meteorologist Joey Sovine here this morning as we kick off the new week. But it's still kind of chilly out there.
It is.
Yeah, a little bit chilly this morning. Not as cold as yesterday morning if you were out early. A lot of you slept right through that. But if you're headed out this morning, just to give you an idea where we're at, most of you are in the 40s, which for February really isn't too bad. Now, as far as the rain is concerned, like they said, no rain expected today. You can see that changing back to the west. Going to be a very wet week back to our north and west. For us, eventually, we'll get some rain chances in here, but not today. Temperatures actually up about 10 degrees from yesterday morning. It was a really cold start yesterday morning. Most of you in the 40s. There are a couple spots like Orangeburg and Kingstree in the upper 30s. Most of you in the mid 40s this morning. So grab a jacket and coat early today. But look at these temperatures. It was a little bit cool this weekend. Not cool today, though. Once we get through that little bit of an early morning chill, by lunchtime, we're at 70 degrees. Warmer air taking hold very quickly today with a southerly breeze. Highs this afternoon, the low to mid 70s. And this is just one in a string of days that will be well above average. We'll talk more about that and what you can expect headed towards Valentine's Day coming up in a few minutes. Kyle.
New this morning, we are working to learn how the driver of a car is doing after this crash on Latson Road and Palmetto Commerce Parkway. The call came in just before 3 o'clock this morning. We will be sure to update you as we learn more.
Right now, Charleston County deputies are searching for a man who they say hit a deputy's vehicle and ran off during a chase. Officials say that deputy attempted to pull over a vehicle around 1:30 yesterday morning. Deputies say that vehicle drove off, pulling into the Walgreens parking lot on Rivers Avenue. That's where they say the driver hit the deputy's vehicle twice. Deputies say he then pulled into a bar's parking lot where he also hit another vehicle. He then ran off, leaving a handgun and crack cocaine at the scene. Anyone with information is asked to call the sheriff's office. Right now, a man is out on bond facing multiple charges after deputies say he led them on a chase in North Charleston. 39-year-old Michael Collins has been charged with failure to stop for blue lights and possession of multiple drugs. Charleston County deputies say they tried to stop Collins on Rivers Avenue near Piggly Wiggly Drive just before 11:30 Saturday night. During that chase, deputies say Collins threw several small bags filled with drugs out of the window before he stopped and surrendered. He's now out on a $65,000 bond.
The Charleston County Sheriff's Office is investigating a West Ashley house fire as arson. Take a look at the video we have from the scene. Flames and heavy smoke poured out of that house Saturday afternoon. Charleston and Andrews fire departments responded to the home on Wood Avenue. This is in a neighborhood off Ashley River Road. They were able to get those flames under control in about 30 minutes. One person was at the home at the time but was able to escape. At Charleston, firefighters also quickly put out a fire in downtown Charleston. They responded to a building on King Street near George around noon yesterday. The first units to arrive reported smoke coming from the second floor. No word on what caused that fire.
During peak travel times, people in West Ashley say they get stuck daily at one busy intersection. Lillian Donahue has more on how local leaders hope some changes can make a big difference for drivers.
Some community members report waiting 3 to 5 light cycles before making it through the intersection of Wapoo Road and Savannah Highway during rush hour. Now local and state leaders hope adding more signals could alleviate the backups. A petition to add those signals closed over the weekend with more than 430 signatures. It also caught the attention of State Senator Sandy Sen, who told me her office has received similar traffic complaints in that area and at other hot spots in the county like Folly Road at Fort Johnson and River Road at Maybank Highway. But for the Wapoo intersection, the city conducted a 6-hour count in October and recorded more than 32,000 cars entering the intersection. But the Department of Transportation found that traffic crossing Savannah Highway didn't warrant separate turn lights. Community members say they hope the city and Department of Transportation can take a second look
and come up with a creative solution. It doesn't have to be turn signals. It would be great if it was, but it doesn't have to be turn signals. Maybe take a look at adjusting the timing so we can get enough cross traffic to keep the intersection relatively clear.
The Department of Transportation has not yet responded to say those traffic requests will be reevaluated in the future. Reporting from the newsroom, Lillian Donahue, Live 5 News.
Berkeley County will soon have a new council member. A special election's being held tomorrow to fill the District 1 seat held by Kevin Cox until his death last September. Dan Owens is the only candidate running for the seat, but voters can also write in candidates. Owens won the Republican special primary in December. He's recently served on Hanahan City Council. Polling sites are open from 7 to 7 tomorrow. The Citadel will honor Vice President Mike Pence on Thursday. Pence will be receiving the Nathan Hale Patriot Award at the 9th Annual Patriot Dinner. The award honors national, state, or local officials who embody Nathan Hale, an American soldier during the Revolutionary War. General admission tickets are still on sale for $250. That dinner is at the Citadel Holiday Alumni Center on Haygood Avenue.
And we're already looking forward to the weekend because the annual Southeastern Wildlife Expo, it'll be back. It's the largest event of its kind that celebrates wildlife and nature through art, sporting demonstrations, food, and more. It's also the unofficial kickoff to tourist season here in the Lowcountry. More than 40,000 people are expected to attend. The three-day event begins Friday morning.
Coming up, the Iowa caucus is still too close to call, and the deadline to call for a recount is today.
And the impacts are being seen around the world as the coronavirus deaths continue to climb.
Now, your first alert forecast from Live 5 News.
All right, good Monday morning to you. Meteorologist Joey Sovine here. Hope you had a great weekend. Certainly felt some cooler temperatures this weekend, but now as we head into the brand new work week and school week, warmer temperatures are going to be the story of the next couple of days. Now you need the jackets and coats out the door this morning. We're starting out at 44 degrees. Sunrise on the way at 7:08 this morning. 45 in Mount Pleasant. We're at 47 Sullivan's Island, 44 in Hanahan and North Charleston. Inland airs, a couple colder spots there at Kingstree and Orangeburg in the upper 30s. A little bit of a chill in the air this morning. When you compare it to yesterday morning, we're showing about a 6 to 10 degrees upward trend in the temperature department, so not as cold, and we'll continue that trend over the next couple days. So likely be the coolest morning all work week long. Now, temperatures today much different than the weekend. We're warming back up. In fact, by the time you step out for lunch, we're going to be near 70 degrees, and we should make it in the low to mid 70s this afternoon. Warmer temperatures, the story of the next couple of days, will come with a few clouds. We'll call it partly cloudy for today. We should stay dry. Now, going into this evening, one thing to point out is our sunset now at 6 o'clock this evening. And just to give you an idea of where we're at right now as far as sunsets, this is going to be our first 6 o'clock sunset since back in November. And you have to go all the way to November 1st later this year for the next time the sun will set before 6 o'clock. 6:17, just to give you an idea, March 1st, so just a few weeks away, and time change is less than a month away now, and by March 8th, 4 weeks from yesterday, we'll see a sunset at 7:22. So as the days get longer, temperatures start to warm up. We'll certainly notice that over the next 4 days. Temperatures well above the average high of 62. We'll be at 78 tomorrow after 75 today, 76 Wednesday, 78 Thursday, and then a big cool down headed our way Friday. Now that's back to near normal for this time of the year, but considerably cooler than we'll be over the next couple of days. Now this week will be a week where most of the rain bypasses us to the north and west. You can see lots of rain, very wet setup there for this week, but for us just a few passing clouds. Tomorrow into Wednesday, we'll start to bring in a slight chance of a shower, just close enough to that moisture. We'll get a few more clouds, maybe 1 or 2 passing showers, but this is all the way through Wednesday and not much rain showing up on future trackers. So just a slight chance of a shower. There will be a few more clouds, but very warm temperatures for February, mid to upper 70s. Thursday, our best rain chance as a cold front comes through. It does cool us down as we head towards Seaweed Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Valentine's Day there on Friday. Temperatures in the upper 50s Saturday. It does look like we'll start to warm back up, though, on Sunday at 68.
A review of the Iowa caucus results show Pete Buttigieg still leading by 0.1%, but the state still doesn't have an official winner yet.
Yeah, and today is the last day for them to ask for a recount or recanvass of the voters, and the campaign for Bernie Sanders says it's wanting one. Now, the Iowa Democratic Party has reviewed 95 precincts the campaign flagged, and the results are basically unchanged. Take a look at the delegates each candidate is now receiving.
Buttigieg has 14 and Sanders with 12. Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden, and Amy Klobuchar fall in line after. But the candidates are now focused more on New Hampshire because voters will head to the polls there tomorrow for the first primary in the nation.
And according to the latest CBS News Tracker poll, Sanders and Buttigieg, they are once again in the lead. Laura Podesta has more from the Granite State.
Temperatures are near freezing in New Hampshire, but it's not stopping voters from coming out to learn more about the Democratic candidates. Waiting to hear Pete Buttigieg speak, this couple tells me they're married but divorced on whether to vote for him in Tuesday's primary.
He's what I like to say, the anti-Trump.
He has a lot of good ideas, but somebody's got to be able to weather the storm when Donald Trump comes and attacks.
The latest CBS News Tracker poll shows Senator Bernie Sanders leading in New Hampshire with 29% support.
We're going to set the pace to win in Nevada and South Carolina and California.
Buttigieg is polling close behind at 25%. Many of his recent gains come at the expense of Joe Biden, who recently released this ad mocking Buttigieg's accomplishments as mayor of South Bend, Indiana.
This guy's not a Barack Obama.
We need to start getting Washington to look a little more like our best-run cities and towns.
One of the big questions ahead of Tuesday's primary here in New Hampshire is voter turnout, because Iowa's fell well below expectations.
I think he could go.
Dante Scala, a professor of political science at the University of New Hampshire, predicts more people will vote in this primary compared to 2016.
New Hampshire Democrats have been pretty excited, as are Democrats nationwide, about perhaps getting this president out of office.
President Trump narrowly lost this state to Hillary Clinton in 2016. He'll be here tonight to rally his supporters. Laura Podesta, CBS News, Manchester, New Hampshire.
Only about 4 in 10 New Hampshire voters say they've made up their mind about who to vote for tomorrow, so there will be still plenty of voters up for grabs as candidates make their final push. Then candidates will head to Nevada, where the next Democratic debate is next Wednesday in Las Vegas. Just ahead of its caucus, a Democratic debate will then be held in Charleston here on the 25th, days before our state's primary at the end of the month.
At least 910 people have died from the coronavirus and more than 40,000 have been affected. The majority of those are in mainland China. Now, because of the outbreak, the Women's Golf World Championship scheduled for Singapore at the end of the month has been canceled. Kia Motors has also suspended production lines at all 3 of its South Korean factories. Because of efforts to contain the outbreak, Senator Chuck Schumer wants the federal government to repay New York City for the money it spent fighting the coronavirus. Schumer says the city has to respond to the outbreak, but it is getting expensive.
Already, the response to corona by New York City has cost over $1 million, and they're going to spend a lot more money than that to prevent corona from happening, from spreading if somehow somebody gets here, is very, very important. And New York should not have to skimp on the dollars.
Last month, Schumer successfully pushed the Trump administration to declare the coronavirus a public health emergency. Right now, the U.S. has 12 confirmed cases of the illness.
Up next, a man is due in court today for shooting 2 officers over the course of several hours. See why officials say he did it.
And a historic night in Hollywood. We'll break down the big winners at the Academy Awards.
Now, your first alert forecast from Live 5 News.
Let's talk about your weather real quickly to get you out the door here on our Monday morning. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Live view out towards the Don Hole Bridge. We're looking good. Watching rain to our north and west. Really, really wet setup across some of the same spots that got a lot of rain off to our north and west, like Atlanta, and then up into the Smoky Mountains in the upstate as well. That rain is going to stay there primarily for the next couple of days. So that means we're going to be high and dry. We'll see a few clouds start to increase. Really, the story of today will be the warmer temperatures temperatures later today, not so much this morning. A cool start. We're primarily in the 40s, so grab a jacket, a coat early today, but lunchtime, maybe make some plans to get outdoors. If you can, maybe just take a walk out of the office. 71 degrees, should make it in the low to mid 70s this afternoon. Partly cloudy, dry, get off of work, 69 degrees there at 5 o'clock. And this is one in a stretch of about 3 or 4 days that are going to be really warm before we see our next cool down. I'll talk all about that coming up at the top of the hour. Aisha.
At least 3 people are dead and 2 others injured after a shooting at an Ohio bar. Police in Youngstown say that they have at least 1 person in custody for the early Sunday morning shooting. The victims' identities have not been released, but officials say all 3 were men in their 30s. The 2 people injured are said to be in stable condition. Police are working to determine if there was more than 1 shooter in this situation. The man accused of shooting 2 New York police officers is expected to be in court today. Authorities in New York say he did it because he hates cops. Now, Officer Paul Sterfino was released from the hospital yesterday after being shot while inside his marked vehicle Saturday night. Officials say the shooter, Robert Williams, also shot another officer hours later while inside the Bronx precinct headquarters. Mayor Bill de Blasio says that officer, Jose Gutro, is now stable and out of the hospital as well. De Blasio also called the incident a premeditated effort to kill.
These officers handled such a horrific situation with heroism, with extraordinary skill. Thank God that each and every one of them will be okay.
Williams is also suspected of another attack on officers that happened just blocks away.
4 people are dead after a small plane crashed in northern Georgia. Gordon County officials say the bodies of 3 men and 1 woman have been recovered from that scene. The plane took off just south of Atlanta Saturday morning, heading for Nashville. A search for the plane began after it disappeared from radar. The National Transportation Safety Board is now investigating, and it says snowy weather may have played a factor. A man, a young boy, and 9 dogs have all died from a house fire in Florida. Authorities just north of Tampa say the 5-year-old boy and his 62-year-old grandfather died as those flames broke out late Friday night. Firefighters were able to rescue a 3-year-old girl and 2 dogs from the home. Officials are now working out trying to figure out what exactly caused the fire.
The Georgia Bureau of Investigation is looking into a deadly shooting involving an off-duty police officer. Police in Atlanta say the shooting happened yesterday outside a nightclub. They say an off-duty sergeant saw people in 2 cars shooting at one another with high-powered rifles and handguns. That's when the sergeant shot at those suspects. 3 people were shot, with 1 of them dying at the scene. Right now, it's unclear if the officer hit any of those that were involved. Students and staff at the University of South Carolina Union are mourning after a crash that killed 2 of their softball players and left 2 others injured. It happened Friday night in Spartanburg County near the downtown airport. Officials say 18-year-old Mia Stokes and 20-year-old Grace Revels, they were killed in that head-on collision. Troopers say another vehicle crossed the center line, crashed into their car. The other people who were injured are expected to be okay.
Heads up for parents, 14,000 baby carriers are being recalled. The Infantino carriers were sold at both Target and Amazon late last year. They include the Go Forward, Flip Front, and Up Close models. The company says its faulty buckles could cause the child to fall out of the carrier. So far, no injuries have been reported. The company also says you should stop immediately using these carriers and return them for a free replacement product.
Trending now, the 92nd Annual Academy Awards has wrapped up and history has been made.
Now, for the first time ever at the Oscars, a foreign language film has won the top award for Best Picture. Parasite actually nabbed a total of 4 wins last night, including that top honor. The South Korean film won for Best International Feature Film, which seemed like a foregone conclusion, but Bong Joon-ho also won for Best Director and for his screenplay.
Renee Zellweger, she took home the 2nd Oscar ever for her for Best Actress in the movie Judy, and Joaquin Phoenix earned his first Academy Award for his lead role in Joker.
Isn't this fun? It's just like a sleepover. We should order pizza.
Speaking of Joker, Harley Quinn is fresh off a breakup from the villain in the new Birds of Prey movie. The film starring Margot Robbie is a first at the box office in its debut weekend, bringing in $33 million.
And that means Bad Boys for Life has dropped to second place for the first time since it hit theaters. That movie brought in $12 million. And 1917 comes in third this weekend. It also earned 3 Oscars last night.
Coming up at the top of the hour, Summer Hector, she's live with how one Charleston area foundation is giving students the chance to visit with Holocaust survivors.
And temperatures warming up. The story of today, I'll have details on that coming up. Abby?
Good morning. Yeah, I am watching your roadways. If you are heading on I-26 this morning, we are looking great near Aviation Avenue, but we do have some crashes to tell you about as well as some construction, so we'll be right back. Stay with us.